And start the recording. Are you watching it already?
Yeah, I'm already in here.
Alrighty. I guess we're back again. Now we're doing Earth. We'll go ahead and jump right back into it. We got the blue cap knockers with 3 mana, 3 cost with double Earth threshold. First off, I just want to say this is like a terrible family portrait, and it scares the shit out of me. Uh, we got an exceptional burrowing and sites they are on top of cannot be moved, destroyed, or modified. I feel like this might this both helps and hurts the roots because if you have them, then your sites don't get destroyed if they're on them. But if your opponent has them, their sites don't get destroyed on them. And I think that would make for some interesting gameplay because I don't see another use case for these besides that, unless God Man himself hits your avatar. I guess this would help, but like if it's Crater Eyes and destroys the site, the blue caps are also dying.
Well,
So
the blue caps will die, right? So
right,
they'll die, but the land will stay because it's just the damage aftermath or whatever, right? So they're gonna die, but the ability of them to not destroy the land or them to not be able to take the land will still be in effect because they're still in play when the card resolves. So
okay,
like so like the crater eyes says destroy a land and deal 10 damage to everything there and then like it ripples out, right?
yeah,
So it'll deal the 10 damage, but because they're on there until the spell is over, um, they'll die, but your land will still be there.
yeah. So I feel like you would just aim for a different site then.
Yeah, so I think this card has potential. I actually brewed a little bit with it. You didn't get to see that deck. I didn't get to play it because the Templar. But this I think this card, like you said, is good with roots. I don't think that it's going to be too crazy because it is again it's a land shield for roots. So if you're playing this card, you're probably already playing Bedrock. You're probably already playing the stuff that destroys lands anyway. So I think this card is good for roots, but like you said, it does have some caveats too as well.
Yeah. Uh, we can read brown bears, but if you want to, I mean,
I mean, it's a 4 mana 4/4. It's a literal grizzly bear.
yeah. And then common cottagers. We've gone over the other ones of this. It's good, no threshold. You can slash it. Provides a threshold, 2/2 even stats. You
Yeah,
will
well,
find ways to do something with that.
yeah, this is the one you said you thought was like the better of the four
Yeah,
because like you have a
because
lot
it's
more
in
earth
Earth.
threshold stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be useful with Tithe.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I've seen you play that today, so that's
Pretty good. We
yeah,
can skip over Dame because we've done her, I think, twice now.
yeah. Dirium Formorians. A burrowing and submerge, 7 cost, 2 threshold, and 6 power. I think that's a solid card. Um, it's a big beefy card.
Yeah, big, beefy, has burrowing and submerged, so you're not going to get killed by the classic kill spells. They're either going to have to use something that literally says this is going to die from this, or something bigger than it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good. It
I
might.
think it's
It's kind of vanilla. It's got a higher cost, but it has its place.
it is a giant. That is of note.
True, and it can get killed by the giant killer, and then there are other cards that help out giants.
Yeah.
I think they're Earth. Most of them are Earth, so we'll be able to get to those.
Okay.
Uh, Duel. 3 mana, 1 Earth. Ordinary magic. All allies. An ally fights target enemy adjacent to it. Uh,
I needed this card in our game. Where was
yeah.
this at?
So this is just one of those things where like it'll help you in those circumstances when you're in a 2x2 grid and you and your opponent are diagonal from each other. So you can take a step forward, play duel. Your now tapped creature will fight what
Yeah,
you're intending for it to fight.
I think this card's pretty good for big creatures.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
I
I
dig
wish I
the
would have.
art.
I legitimately wish I would have had it in our game.
Yeah, it probably would have helped you out.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, with the one that
With
kills something on death, right? You could have just
yeah,
sacrificed him and gotten the conquering room.
yep. Could have taken out the worm and then just gotten it back the next turn when I attacked your side again.
Yeah. Pretty decent card. It has a place. It's useful.
Yes.
Oh, I used this card.
Field laborers. 3 cost, 2 threshold, 2 power. Tap, gain 2 mana this turn. This card is it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I think it's so good considering we have the Hob that can untap it, Queen Guinevere that can untap it. Uh, I am using it in my current deck to get larger creatures out and then also boost the damage power of what is it? Arcane Blast? Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
the multiple
Yeah, the
missiles
machine
or
gun.
whatever.
For
Yeah,
each
missile.
mana, it does an additional damage
Yeah,
projectile.
yeah,
Uh, Forcing big creatures out. I mean, like this 2 mana is excellent from a card that you have to wait a turn, but if you play it in the back and there's no way for them to get it, 2 mana from one card,
yeah. It's pretty good. It's really good.
pretty good.
Frisky red squirrel. 1 cost, 1 threshold, 1 power. Genesis, take target nearby artifact that can be carried and hide it beneath this site. So basically, uh, burrow any artifact when it comes into play.
Any of the good ones.
Yeah,
Well,
Philosopher's
it's
Stone,
any of them really. Yeah,
cores, mixes,
it's pretty
anything that can be
good.
carried. Yeah,
If they didn't add the part where it buries it beneath the site, the card would be ass, right? Because you would play it,
mm-hmm.
you would steal something, and then next turn they would just slap your squirrel and pick it up. Uh, but the fact that it burrows it makes it a lot stronger.
Yeah,
So that was
yeah.
good foresight by the team.
It isn't exceptional. It is not. It is not an ordinary.
Yeah, I think that's pretty all right considering. Unless like who has tons of burrowing creatures beside my deck? Not many, I don't think.
I think the Enchantress plays a bunch of burrow stuff. So that's because the Enchantress is it's a control deck. So
Yeah. Even
burrows
then,
like the Scorpion
if
stuff.
you can get to it, you have to burrow. You have to grab it. You have to come
Yeah,
back up. If you're trying to hand it off to something, it's a good disruption card.
yeah.
Grain Sparrow, 1/1/1, airborne, gain 2 life. Uh, Ordinary. I was using this in my deck, and I found that basically every time I got to play it, I had not last life yet. So yeah, so drawing it later on, of course, you can gain life with it, and it's airborne. It can move fluently.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I just
Sorry.
every time I was playing it, I was not able to gain the life.
I think this would be something good in Death Speaker.
Oh yeah,
Because Genesis of Gain 2 Life, you're using cards like Geistwood, so you're gonna summon it to Geistwood, so when it dies you're gonna gain 2 life, and then you're gonna summon it back to the Geistwood or whatever,
yeah.
and just keep gaining life. So this thing, I could see these cards, if you're running all 4, could gain you a total of 24 life in the Death Speaker alone.
It's pretty good.
Barring, if you have the Geistwood, right?
Right.
But, even then it's still uh 16 life if you don't have the Geistwood.
Yeah. So it can be potentially game changing if you use this with Death Speaker. Uh, and it can help you out. It's just in my experience so far, we've only played like 2 games with it in, and I haven't been able to get to life, but it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Grand Old Boar. 5 cost, 3 threshold, 5 power. An elite beast. Has charge if there are dead squeakers. Now, I have no idea what dead squeakers are, but
Uh,
a 5/5 for 5 with potentially haste is probably okay.
yeah, I think we should go ahead and we'll just leap to them because they're further down the list. So this is squeakers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So one
Death
one
right.
one. Death right. Reveal the next 5 spells and summon a pigs of Sonder from among them to the site. Put the rest in the bottom in a random order.
Okay, so if
And
you have a dead squeakers, then
then
it is
that will get
haste.
charged, and then this
Okay.
one's feeds into this one's ability. And this one is 3 mana, 3 attack, double threshold, Pigs of the Sonder, Death Right, reveal the next 5 cards, summon the Grand Old Boars from among them, and put the rest of the bottom of your deck, which leads us back
To the Grand Old
to
Boar.
the Great Old Boar.
Okay. Okay. So for one, potentially 1 mana, you have. It summons them all, right?
So the Squeakers dies, then you can find this, and then when this
And it
dies, you can
summons it.
find this.
Yeah, but it
Yeah, it
summons it when
summons
it
it.
dies, right?
Yeah.
So it summons it, and then Pigs of the Sonder summons that guy.
Yeah,
So
if it dies and
that's
you
pretty
find
good.
it, then it summons this. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then if you're using the whole combo and Squeakers died in the beginning, this has haste for free, comes to the board.
Okay. And then you have a potential to get 2 Grand Old Boars off of the Pigs of the Sonder.
Yep.
Because they are elite. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's potential there. I think there's it's a little bit far fetched, but there's potential there.
Yeah, since the deck size is going to get bigger, we've already hit 50. We're going to go to 60 eventually. I can see it working, and if it pops off, it's going to hurt. But I'm sure there's other ways you can possibly manipulate the deck to help you find it.
Yeah.
But for now, it's pretty alright if it pops off. Alright, guards. 6 mana, double threshold. Summon a foot soldier token for each site around near your avatar. So you have the potential to summon 9 if your avatar is not up against a wall.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, 9 stats for 6 mana, and then there are cards that help you summon knights using foot soldiers.
And then the king that gives knights or gives all mortals +1.
Yeah, this card has synergy potential, and
That's pretty good.
9 tokens on its own is still pretty scary. You have to take care of all of that because I guarantee you they're going to start marching.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hunting party, 4 cost, 3 power, and 1 threshold. Ranged, exceptional. Nearby enemies lose stealth. I haven't actually seen a lot of stealth being used lately.
Yeah,
We didn't. I don't even think we even attempted to use it in
yeah,
the decks that we built. So I think you have to build around preparing for stealth, and I don't know how that's gonna. I don't know how much that's gonna do.
yeah. And there's a ton of cards now. Typically, every hunter has this ability. I think there's the tracker. There's the bloodhounds. There's the land that does it now. There's this there's options.
Yeah, the lighthouses make them lose stealth.
Yeah, and there's some of them do the whole board. So I
Yeah.
don't know why you would choose this over anything else, especially since its stats are weaker than its cost. It has 1 threshold and ranged. Sure, but I think there are better options than this one.
I mean, I guess in a sense, shooting a 3 power projectile is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty good. The only reason I would choose this is because ranged is the only. I don't remember if the other ones have range, but there's that.
Mhm.
Kettletop Leprechaun, 2/2 for 1 threshold. Ordinary Fairy, Deathrite, draw sight. I had this in the ramp deck. I didn't really get to use it, but You have to have it die to draw the site, but that's okay. Like you're just gonna send it headlong, and if they don't deal with it, then they're just gonna eat 2 damage over and over and over again.
Yeah, I like this card.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like this card. Being able to draw land when it dies, just it kind of gives you the ability to build around to build to build some other things because
Yeah.
getting to just play a card and get something cool when it dies just makes it not painful when it dies.
Yeah, I'm playing it in Geomancer, and the more Geomancer's already a god at not having to draw sites,
Hmm.
uh, and this just helps it out even further. Drawing site good. Talked about King Arthur. This is the card
So
mentioned with the other one.
yeah, knighthood, one anything one or one threshold. Uh, it's an exceptional. If you control an ordinary mortal, you may summon a knight, sir, or dame from your hand to their location. Um, so this doesn't transform them like I thought it did. So technically, I had foot soldiers and knights in those locations. Um, this card is very good. You basically, if you have a mortal or an ordinary mortal, so foot soldier token, what is it? There's so many ordinary mortals. I can't even remember a lot of them. A lot of the ones that give you threshold stuff like that.
Yeah,
You can summon any knight to their location, and it is very good when you have a deck built with 21 of the 24 knights that are in this set. Sirs, my bad.
yeah,
There's 21 sirs, there's 4 knights, and 1 dame. So literally half your deck is going to be able to come out with knighthood.
yeah. And red helps this card out a lot. I'll go ahead and show the cards. Fire. Arthurian Legends. There's Invasion, and then there's the card I was using a lot in our games. Where are they? Here. So he's an ordinary, can be cast at enemy sites as long as there's no one standing on it. So this will help you out with that card. It is an ordinary mortal. And then Invasion right here. At the end of your turn, summon a foot soldier token to each affected enemy site with no limit, with no units, and it lasts for 3 turns. So these two cards synergize with that card pretty well. Summoning foot soldiers in an area where you can then use that card to summon other knights there.
Yeah, I think knighthood is an overall it's a very powerful card because you get to play a 6 cost for 1.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a very good card.
Lady Isuult. Uh, 2 mana, double threshold of Earth, 1 power, a unique mortal. Other nearby allies that would die return to the hand instead of the graveyard. If you can get this in there, it's like an undead army essentially. Pretty
Yeah,
good at
I
Go ahead.
I like this card a lot.
Me too. It's very cheap and its effect is powerful.
Yeah, it is actually in my Knigget deck.
That's sad. I never saw you play it too.
I never got to. The only thing that sucks about it is it will not trigger death rat abilities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it says if it would die, return it to hand, so it's a replacement effect. So it would never die and go to the graveyard. It just goes back to your hand.
Interesting. Yeah, good card. Definitely. I bet this could forever be a staple in mortal
Yeah,
decks.
yeah, it's cheap. It does good things. I think it's really good. So even I mean, Death Speaker, putting it in Death Speaker, like because you're going to be playing a lot of Genesis abilities anyway. So when they die, they just go back to your hand. You get to play them again. And if they actually die, then you get to play them with Death Speaker.
Pretty good. Damn if you do, damn if you don't type of
Yeah.
card.
Overbearing Bailiff. 3, 2 threshold, and 0 power. Has 7 power while in your back row, and no royalty is nearby. Um, I don't like this card as much.
Yeah.
It's a decent defender, but at the same time, it probably gets better over time because Arthurian Legends is all about royalty right now.
Yeah. I don't know if it would work with Ruler of Thol or uh, the other card that allows you to connect the back end Megalon Globe, and there's a third one. If this were to swing across the border, if it would keep its attack in the swing to deal salmon damage for a surprise attack.
Well,
Because
it wouldn't be in your back row then.
yeah, I was wondering like because it's initially in there and you start the attack if it would keep it. I don't know, but that's like the only way I can see this card being of any use, or it's just stuck on your back row.
Yeah, I think because it's a static ability.
Yeah.
So as soon as it leaves your back row, it loses that 7 power.
So even my point doesn't make it any good. So I guess it's purely for defense. I don't.
Reminds me of in 300 where the guy sends the messenger and they cut his arm off.
Yeah.
That's what that guy reminds me of.
Rip
He's
that guy.
useless.
Yeah.
Completely useless.
For real. I don't like that card. Paragon Legacy. This is. I even considered putting it in my deck just to draw a card because it's one card, one mana, and it'll bring all the unique cards back, and you get to draw a card. Uh, this card is powerful for 1 mana. This is like if the game's going to the wire, you can refill your deck. It's draw a card for 1, which I don't think any other card lets you draw a card for 1. Uh, it's strong. This is a strong card.
It is. It is very strong. Think about getting to replay your roots.
Yeah. Yeah, it is unique cards. It doesn't even specify minions, so
Yeah. Unique replaying all your unique cards. So like your death dealers, your death dealers, roots, um,
your 4 waters.
Vesuvius, 4 waters, yeah, like all that stuff.
Yeah, this could reset anything that might have been foiled in the beginning, resets.
Yeah, it's a good card. It's a very good card.
Pretty crazy card. Talked about that. Talked about Queen.
Now, I do want to go back to the queen real quick.
Okay.
It does say allied minion. Allied minion.
Yeah, not Avatar.
So not Avatar. We thought it was minion. And there's an FAQ here on her too that we should probably go over.
Go for it.
Because she's a 4-color card or four threshold card. There's a question that says, how does Philosopher's Stone work with it? The ruling on that is that it doesn't care that she is all 4. It uses 1. Like, it only gives you 1.
Yeah, and then it also uses up every instance of it being able to play any other element.
Yes. All right. Rescue. You want me to take this one?
Yep.
3. Cost. 2 threshold. Ordinary. This is not irrelevant. Return a minion from your cemetery to your hand. I like this card.
Me too. This is everything Raised Dead should have been.
Yes.
It's cheaper. You get to select a card. It might be to your hand and not the battlefield, but I love Resurrection, anything, pulling stuff from the cemetery. Yes. And I'm glad they finally gave us a card to do so.
Yeah, it's a really good card. I think
Yeah.
it's really good, especially in decks that want to replay a lot of the stuff that just dies.
Yeah, and it's cheap too.
Yeah,
That's
can be
pretty darn
searched
cheap.
out. Can be searched out with common sense. Like it's just good.
That's a good card. That's a good point too. Common sense plays into this. So you reproc in Genesis, you're getting cards back that you wish you hadn't have lost. Just great. I'm glad I get to talk about this one. So I will upload the videos of our games. I knew this card was good, but holy shit, is this card good? Uh, Rita Gar of Dania. 6 mana, 6 cost, 3 Earth Threshold. It is a unique giant, and other minions cannot untap. Now, this might include your minions, but playing it after your opponent swings turns off their whole field. And in your case, like, it allowed me to dominate the game, essentially. He had no way to take care of it. I picked off what I could with it, and then I just started going for health. This card is actually insane. And the
I
fact that I
was
got it both games is nuts.
yeah, I was in such a good spot too.
Yeah, this, you should really check out our games if you made it this far in the video. Watch our games where I play this. That is a game changer. It's actually insane.
Yeah, you can actually see the tide of battle turning because of that card.
Yeah, I also really like the art. He looks brutal. He looks dope as hell. And his tagline is "Bow lest ye enrage this unique giant." It This card is awesome. I love that card.
It is a good card. I do agree. I do agree. After seeing it in action, like I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that good.
Yeah,
Like there was nothing I could do.
it is
And
devastating.
and you can't. So the way that we played it was that you can't untap the minions no matter what. So Queen Guinevere. I had a Queen Guinevere out. I tried to untap something, and then we realized that we probably couldn't do that.
Yeah. So if you're in the comments and you think otherwise, let us know.
Yeah. Third Bedivere. We both played this card.
We sure did.
Should tell you something. 4 cost, 3 threshold, 3 threshold, 2 earth, and 1 water, 3/4. Unique. If he's carrying an artifact at the start of your turn, draw a card. We've talked about this time and time again. Drawing cards is always good, and drawing cards for doing something that you would normally be doing anyway is even better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is my deck is Earth, Wind, Water, and this is literally the only water card in the entire deck. And I only put the amulet in the deck for him to hold. I managed to get that out, and you just start drawing 2 cards per turn. It feels good. It gives you that advantage.
Definitely. Drawing extra cards is always good.
Truly.
And the only reason that I benefited from that was because I had the Queen of Midland and less cards. So
yeah. We've talked about Younger, Galahad, Gwaine, Ironside, Kay.
I don't think we've. Oh wait, we did talk about Kay.
Yeah, this is actually nuts how many of them have Earth Threshold in them. Yeah, but we talked about all these in the other videos. We have not talked about Sir Lancelot, though.
This me?
I think so. No, you talked about Guinevere.
Yeah.
Sir Lancelot, 6 mana, 4/6, double fire, double earth, unique mortal that fights in the Queen's name. He has Lance, which I'd like to correct this in other videos. Lance allows you to strike, so it gives it first strike, making Lance a lot better than I thought it was. The first time Sir Lancelot fights each turn, untap him. So since he has strike, first strike, and he gets to untap, the first time he gets to go, his attack might be a little lackluster compared to his health, but a lot of stuff in the game is 4 or below. And to be able to hit something without the risk of taking damage, untap, and potentially get something else, or to attack a site on top of that, or to take out a 8 health minion, even. Sir Lancelot is a pretty solid card.
Wait, so with Lance, does it allow to strike or does it? I thought it gave a power
It
and
gives
then
you +1, and then you have first strike until it
first strike.
breaks.
Okay, so even if it was an 8 power minion, he would still die because he would
Yeah,
get to strike first, but
right.
then he wouldn't strike again.
Yeah. You would
Okay.
get to hit twice, but you could kill something bigger than he is.
You don't get to hit twice though. So Lance just lets you strike first, right?
Right. But the second time
So
you would die on the second attack.
yeah, but like the Lance, right? So when he attacks, when he fights the first time,
Yeah.
he untaps. So he's still going to be dealing the damage and taking the damage from whatever he hits, unless what he hits is 4 or 5 or less the first time.
Striking the in this instance, I think it gives you first strike, does it not?
Right. So first strike means that if the minion you're hitting has 5 toughness,
Oh, you're right. You're right.
then
You're right. I see what
but
you're
if
saying because
yeah
he gets a hit first, but he's still going to receive the damage if it does not die.
yes
Okay.
yes
Okay. I get it. So 5 is the sweet spot for him.
yeah yeah
I see what you're saying. I think he's
he's still
quite
pretty
good.
good. He still scared you in our game.
Yeah, he did. Uh, I know Team Covenant got an alternate art for them, but I like this art more.
Okay.
It's just well done from the glowing and like the light being cast upon him and stuff and the shading. I dig.
That's the Grail behind him, right? The
Yeah,
Holy Grail.
yeah.
Okay. Do all of the knights have the Holy Grail in them?
I don't think so.
I know Bedivere was holding it.
Yeah, like not all of them,
Okay.
but yeah,
We did not talk about this one.
we did
This
not.
one, this one, Thermorian. 4 costs, 3 threshold, 1 earth and 2 fire. Uh, 3 power. Did you talk about the last one or did I?
I talked about Sir Lancelot.
Okay. He's unique. He has a genesis of summon 2 foot soldier tokens here, and enemy projectiles can't enter here. I think this card is bonkers.
Yeah, this card's good.
The ability to summon 2 extra power as a genesis, and stopping projectiles from entering is great.
Yeah,
I think that this card with Geistwood, with um, Death Dealer, or no, Death Speaker, um, this card is just really good.
yeah. I don't care that it's 4 for 3. You get the +2/+2 basically, and then you protect whatever you're trying to protect. Put this in front of it or on top of it.
Yeah,
It blocks those projectiles.
yeah. I think that card is it's ridiculous. I know for a fact I put that in one of the decks that I think were
Yeah,
that we haven't played yet.
yeah. So this will stop Pudge. This will stop Nelly. This will stop Arcane Blast. Anything epic you can think.
It also stops grapple shots.
Yep, it's pretty good.
Let's talk about this guy again.
Okay. Sir Percival, 4 mana, 1 wind, 1 double earth, 4/5. So he's got better stats than his cost. Unique mortal, Genesis, an opponent chooses a site. When Sir Percival enters the site, draw a card and reactivate his Genesis ability. Justin played this and I was terrified. The first deck I was playing was like smaller creatures that invade you. There was no stopping him. There was no stopping him.
It came out turn 2, on one of my sites, and he chose his site, your site, and I was there in 2 turns, so it's a pretty good card. It's a
Yeah,
pretty good card.
I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop it from happening. Only until he made it like 4 spaces in. And then I had to sacrifice like multiple creatures just to take it out.
Yeah. And that was the same game that you played the giant too. So that was the thing.
Yeah, pretty nutty. Pretty good card.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They're all good when you can play them early.
Yeah,
Like they're all really good playing them early.
especially 5 stats that early on. Makes it pretty difficult to do anything about it. Sir, go ahead.
Sir Priamus. 4 cost, 3 threshold, 2/4. Lance and lethal. Nearby allies are immune to lethal. This card is good.
Yeah,
First strike and death touch is always good. Which basically just equates to I'm gonna hit you first, and because I hit you first, you die. And then your allies are immune. I mean, it's really good for Poison Nova.
yeah. Turns off Poison Nova. Turns off Viper. Uh, Lethal is strong. Lethal is always going to be strong. And the fact that he can do it with first strike and turn it off at the same time, pretty good.
He turns it off for your dudes, right?
Yeah,
So your nearby allies. So in a 9 square space, if you have another spellcaster and you play Poison Nova, your stuff is safe.
yeah, pretty good. You can also give him Merlin's staff, and he could become the
You
spellcaster.
can, yeah, yeah, and he does have fire in his threshold. So Poison Nova with him is almost like a
A
do it, I
no-brainer.
dare you.
Yeah, pretty good card.
Pretty good.
Talked about Sir Yavin. We'll go ahead and go to Spear Marshal. 5 mana, 4 threshold Spear Marshal for 3 stats. An elite mortal. Once on your turn, he may summon a Lance token, basically. Now that I know Lance, and this cost makes much more sense to me for 5 for 3. You can just dish out first strike to whoever you please. Uh, I don't know if it's not really terrific because you have to drop, someone else has to pick up, so they have to be in close proximity to be able to do so, which leaves you open for AoE type spells. But I think it's pretty all right.
I agree. Knowing what Lance does and knowing that it gives first strike and the fact that he can just acquire one, so every turn he can give himself first strike
Right.
seems pretty good.
Yeah. His attack's a little low for me to want to let him keep the lance, but I mean, it doesn't tap him to summon one, so he could just have it all the time.
Well, he can just carry as many as he wants, right? So
True.
every turn you can just give him extra lances.
True. Do they all break at once though?
Yeah, probably.
That is a little rough, but you could charge this motherfucker up then.
You sit back there behind your blockade. I'm just gonna build up my spear marshal. And he
20
sits.
lances teleport. One shot the fucking enemy avatar. That'd be pretty wild. I would love to see that happen in a game. This
Stone
is you
Rain.
go.
Yeah, Stone Rain. 4 costs, 2 threshold. Exceptional. Target a side up to 2 steps away. Deal 1 damage to everything atop it, repeating for each site in your hand. This card has some potential to wipe a side away.
Yeah.
For people like the leprechaun that we saw earlier, them dying draws you a sight. So anything like any reason for you to have extra lands,
Yeah.
it seems pretty good.
Leprechaun, Tithe, uh, Land Surveyor.
Yeah, and I've actually started drawing lands earlier in the game, like and drawing less spells
Yeah.
as early, because like you're not gonna play them, right? But I don't know. I feel like a better player when I draw lands.
True. I'd like to say that like it has a lot of limiting factors. One, you are hoping that your opponent is stacking your minions, which if you're listening, don't stack your minions. Uh, it's dangerous. 2, it's only up to 2 steps away. 3, you have to have a bunch of sights in your hand for it to be extremely deadly. So there's a lot of check marks to hit for this card to be excellent. Uh, and that would probably be the reason why you wouldn't see this in my deck when I could go one more mana up and play an Earthquake.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then of note, you have to target your spellcaster to cast it.
Yeah.
So
You have to have something in position to do so.
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of check marks for that card. Tax Collector. 3 mana, double Earth Threshold, 2 power. You ordinary mortal. Genesis, your opponent's next turn, their spells cast one more. That's pretty all right to me. This could stall out your opponent from doing something they want to do. It might not be like a great attacker, but it's on the field now and you can use it after its Genesis is played. It's free game to get wrecked. And then in Death Speaker, you can summon it a second time.
Yeah. I think this is okay. It reminds me of the witch ability for a turn.
Right.
Um, I don't remember if I'm using this in the witch deck or not, but I don't. The more I play that deck, the more I don't like it.
That's a rip because you were
Yeah,
excited about the Witch deck.
I really was. Like, I guess I just need to change a few things in it
Yeah.
because it just wasn't doing good against you at all.
Yeah.
Which you were summoning into my spaces, so
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal deck. But then you whipped out the other deck and clapped the shit out of me, so uh it's an
I think this.
alright card.
Yeah, I think this is all right. I think for an ordinary, it's probably a little. I don't know. I wouldn't say pushed, but I think it's got potential to chain them back to back and have your opponent just be slowed down for multiple turns.
Yeah. Well, you build up your side, which it has potential, but not the best card.
Thankless Squire. 5 cost, 2 threshold, and 1 power. It is an ordinary. Lance, Lance, Lance. Immobile. So for 5 mana, you get a 4 power, 1 time
Yeah.
creature.
Yeah, I think you would really want to just drop the lances and hand them out, basically. But even after that, he stays immobile.
Yeah, yeah. The FAQ says once the Thankless Squire has delivered all those lances and isn't carrying anymore, is it still immobile? Yes, he's very tired and in need of rest.
I don't really dig this card.
I don't like this card. I probably wouldn't play this card for any reason.
Yeah. Unless you're planning on stacking, just like play him in the background, drop all the lances. He's ordinary. You do it 3 times, you build, or 4 times total, you build up to 12 lances, and you're trying to do some epic crap. That'd be 20 mana to do, though, and that's,
Yeah, and he can't even move.
yeah, it's quite expensive. Tithe. The epicness that is Tithe. 1 mana, triple Earth Threshold, might be a little expensive. Unique magic, but draw 3 sites. So this is with that family card. You can have the Onyx core. If you're playing Geomancer, getting this much Earth is no problem. And drawing this allows you to basically for the next 3 turns, you don't have to worry about searching sites, and you can do what you want for those 3 turns.
Yeah, you get to use your avatar. Like say you're using the sorcerer, right? You get to use your avatar to draw cards,
So that's
or
6
even play
cards
the land. Yeah,
over 3 turns. It's pretty good.
it's a good card, deserving of the unique title.
For real.
Valor. 0 cost, 2 threshold. May be cast when an ally defends a site or another unit. The ally gains +4 power. This is the first instant in the game.
There's actually dodge roll.
Shh.
Yeah,
This one's going to be played.
Yeah, yeah. Or a dodge roll.
This card is good. Giving
Yeah.
a creature 4 power when it defends is a really good way. Like I wish I would have had this when he had swung on my stuff with his giant.
Yeah. 4 power, good. 4 extra stats. You make anything basically gigantic.
4 extra stats during your opponent's turn
Yeah.
that they
It's
didn't see coming.
that they didn't see coming. Surprise attacks are always beautiful. It's an excellent card, especially
Yeah.
for 0. Like, come on, just put it in there. So Verdant, we can talk about it since it has Lance. I'll give it some more props. It's got the first strike. It's it's. I have a better opinion of these cards now since I know that. Uh, it's okay.
Now
I still wouldn't use it.
that does bring the question about if two creatures with lance fight each other, do they just kill each other, or does the person attacking get to do damage first?
Huh. I guess we can read strike.
Well, it should be on lance, right?
Oh yeah,
Give
we
it.
can do Lance. When a minion
Each
with
time
Lance, go ahead. You can go for it.
minion with lance keyword enters play carrying a lance artifact token, they can use it for themselves or give it to another minion. The first time a unit strikes while carrying a lance, it deals an extra damage and strikes first. In a fight, the lance breaks. Lance tokens are artifacts for all intents purposes, can be picked up and dropped and stolen just like other artifacts when they're broken or moved from the realm like other tokens. So we need to go to page 23 to see striking first.
Some units may be able to land their blows before their enemy can respond. Units that strike first resolve their strikes before their target and resolve theirs. If multiple units in the same fight are able to strike first, they all strike at the same time. The surviving units without the ability make their strikes. So yes, it works like first strike in Magic in every way. Yeah, so it acts as first as if two minions have first strike, just like in Magic.
Okay, okay, cool.
All right, on to the next.
Me or you?
You.
Ah. Vivian the Enchantress. 5 cost, 1 power. Don't let that fool you. 3 threshold. Unique. Vivian has all the printed abilities of avatars and spellcasters in the realm, wherever she is. I think this card screams to build around certain avatars.
Yeah. Not to mention that we're also getting stronger spellcasters like Merlin. Uh, Not that you would really need it for Merlin, right? Because you'd only be able to look at the top. But those spellcasters are going to get more and more intense as time goes on, and her power level is only going to get crazier.
Yes. I agree completely. This card was the reason that I started building the witch.
It's
Because
pretty nuts.
when I can curse your avatar 2 or 3 times in a turn, because she is a minion that can untap with Guinevere. It seems really good.
Yeah. Strong card. Like we could go over all of it, but just if you're looking at this card, look at the avatars, look at all the spellcasters in the game. There are many different things you can do. There's a witch. I can't witch something witch, where she like does -2 to nearby uh, creatures. This could be side by side with that, giving it -4. There's all kinds of stuff you could do with this card. Wall of Brambles. This is a card that I plan on using. I don't know how and when and what I'm going to mix in with it, but I'm going to use this at some point. 2 mana, 1 threshold, in ordinary order. Conjure on top a border of an allied site. Whenever an enemy traverses the wall on ground, it takes 2 damage. So one, it's only enemies, which makes a free pass for you and a danger for them. And the fact that it does 2 damage is pretty good.
Yeah, I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
Um, of note, it is. I brought this up to you earlier today, I think. Wall of Brambles reads conjure atop the border of an allied site, whereas the old Wall of Air, Wall of Wind, or whatever, Wall of Fire, they all say on top of a top border of a land you control. Um, so I don't know if you guys have tinfoil hats on or whatever, but to me, this screams that they are looking to make a multiplayer format that's going to be more set in multiple than 2 players.
Yeah, this card has pretty crazy potential. So like if you had the druid and you had it in front of a pudge butcher, had the wall of brambles up, and if you didn't, if it is crazy powerful compared to the pudge, or if you it's just slightly stronger and you didn't want to kill it with the pudge and risk your pudge, you could drag this through the 3 spaces of your druid and then drag it through wall of brambles, dealing 5 damage total. You could throw. There's a land that when they pass through that site, it deals an additional damage. There's the firewall that does 3 or 2,
Two, two.
2 more damage for a total of 8 damage just from hitting them with Punch Belcher Hook. Uh, this card has potential to synergize. That's a lot of cards to use all at once, but it makes the battlefield dangerous as hell. And if they don't dispel it, it stays there forever. It's something you don't have to worry about and something they forever have to worry about.
Yeah, so I think this is really good because, like you said, Pudge Butcher shoots a projectile across the map. Nelly Longarm shoots a projectile across the map, drags everything to it. Harpoon drags everything to it. Um, I think this card, I, I think this card has potential with all the things that drag things through things. And if you're building a deck that basically says things like bottomless pit, if you shoot a projectile over the bottomless pit and drag something through it, it kills the thing before it gets there. Um, so I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, you have some potential to have some seriously hazardous map for your opponent. Where are we? Did I go down somehow?
White Heart, White Heart.
Oh, White Heart.
Yeah. White Heart. 3 cost, 2 power, 2 threshold, unique. Other minions and locations nearby can't be attacked. I don't know about you, but this looks like a Patronus from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
And it protects everything, like it did in Harry Potter.
yeah.
This is a good card.
This is a stall card if I've ever seen one.
It's a good card.
Yeah. This says no way, Jose. Not here. This is my land.
Not up in here.
Yeah, this I don't I mean it's pretty cut and dry. Like things not being able to attack your stuff is pretty alright. Having to find an alternative way to beat down something puts strain on your opponent, and that's always a good thing to make choices, make hard decisions that you don't have to worry about.
Yeah. This reminds me of like a turtle type thing.
Yeah. Help you out in the end. And it's cheap too, so if you manage to draw it, you could stop rush strats. It would probably pretty much harm the hell out of the first deck I played with you against today.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked about White Knight, so we'll go ahead and hop into Wolpertinger. 4 mana, 0. Double Earth Threshold. Elite Beast has +1 power for each of your dead beasts. So this is permanently in effect. If you've gone to all out war all game and your deck is nothing but beast, this could be stronger than the great old one. This little fucking thing here.
can
Uh,
you imagine?
yeah, couldn't. Could you like this thing has like serious karate moves and just kicks your head off when it comes at you or some shit. It
Uh,
has huge potential.
yeah, it does. So I could see this in a deck that uses like the all the little pigs.
Yeah,
Uh, those things like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 potentially
yeah,
power off of those guys.
yeah. Wolves deck, gray wolves. You could just
Yep.
have this as the win condition in the deck. You can have two of them. All the wolves are beast.
Yep. Yep.
It's
I'm gonna throw out the classic dies to removal argument.
yeah,
If you bury this, it just stays dead forever.
true. That's why you get two of them.
Well, then I'll have to merge the other.
If you have an army of wolves to take care of beforehand, I mean, it has potential. It can get fucked pretty easily. But if it were to reach a point, it would be quite scary.
Yeah, if it's not checked, it's gonna do some damage.
Yeah. It seems like a fun card.
Wolpertinger. Wyvern. 6 cost, 2 threshold, 5 power. Airborne. Exceptional. It's a Dargon.
Yeah.
It's a typical Dargon.
Yeah, it's a very vanilla, very straightforward. I think there are bigger creatures, but if you're like wanting to use nothing but airborne type cards in your deck, this is like one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. I think this has a Curio, right?
Yeah, this does.
Okay.
Has a very classic art to it too. It looks very good.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, it's a solid card. It's a 6 mana 5 or it's a 6 mana 5/5 player. Nothing. It's nothing to scoff at. Like 5 is a big number.
Yeah. It can be scary, but you might be able to find better stuff. Maybe just to put it in there to put it in there. And I guess we'll talk about our last card, even though we don't have to. It's the same as all the other ones. Uh, Yellow Knight. It's a Fire Earth 3. Starts off at 4/2. Has first strike essentially. You can have three of them. First strike's good. It's just it's a bit weak for me to still enjoy this card. Firebolt takes it. Arcane Missile takes it. Mortality takes it. Berry takes it. This thing is
Yeah.
susceptible to basically every form of removal.
Mortality is a card that's going to see a lot more play, I
Oh
think,
yeah,
because of Arthurian Legends.
yeah,
We had talked about that the other day. I don't like the Yellow Knight, the Black Knight, and the White Knight, or what's the Green Knight. Green Knight's unique. I don't like the Knights because they just don't do as much as the Sirs do with the same threshold requirements essentially.
yeah,
Um, and if you can play them on turn 1 or 2 or even 3 or whatever, and you're only getting a 4/2 once, whereas with Lancelot you get extra attacks. With Bedivere you get extra cards. With the Dame you get extra people.
yeah,
So I don't know. I don't like these taking up my 3 slot.
yeah. There's just straight up better options than these cards. But I feel like if you're making a card game, you have to have a vanilla version of the more powerful versions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong because I mean you do get you have knights, you have sirs, you have kings, you have
Yeah.
queens, you have
In draft,
squires.
this is probably just fine.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. In draft, when you're not going to see as many cards, this is fine. When you've got the chance to build however you want to, this is probably lackluster.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up Earth. Uh, I definitely there are some strong cards included throughout Earth, but you can tell they paid a little less attention to Earth in this set because it was widely considered the best archetype before Arthurian Legends. Uh,
So,
go
are
ahead.
there any cards you want to go over again? Like maybe that he said you had looked through these things for hours, right? Was there anything that stood out to you before or that stands out to you now that didn't before, like maybe after playing the card?
Definitely field laborers. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't expect it to go crazy like that. Uh, Basically, a lot of them are at first glance they're already strong, and you can tell like this
Mhm.
Valor's strong. Uh, so not really too much besides this. I thought this would just get wrecked immediately, and you would never be able to play it. But playing it in the back on a longer game, it seems to be able to be pretty fine.
Mhm.
Something I won't play, but I think someone is going to definitely use blue cap knockers. Uh, yeah, they Earth got some good cards, but other colors this set, like blue got some pretty good cards through its set.
Yeah. I think if I was gonna talk about anything from Earth, it would be Ironside, Sir Ironside.
Oh yeah, Ironside was a problem in our game.
Yeah. I think this card, for whatever reason, I thought this card wasn't that great. But when you play a 7 power dude on your opponent's turn, or when you have a 7 power dude on your opponent's turn, they just tend to walk away from it.
Yeah,
Um, or to throw it in front of something, throw like a 1/1 in front of a site that you're about to wreak havoc on.
yeah. Basically, I had to only block this creature. The giant came out, and the giant's not strong enough to kill the creature. Uh, and ultimately, I had to blast him with one of the cards in my deck that I was intending to use as a win condition. So it's scary. A 7/7 for 4, it makes it pretty scary. And I know the people out there will be like bury and stuff, and that's cool. I'm not in this game. In Magic, it feels more natural to have something that kills a creature. In this game, positioning matters a lot. You have to damage the enemy avatar, so you need creatures to be able to do it or spells to be able to do it. And you to fill up the board and have like if I have 7 creatures on the board and you play bury, I'm just like, okay, I have 6 more creatures. That's fine, whatever. Uh, it gets overwhelming quickly if you have a ton of creatures, and for something so powerful for this cheap, it's terrifying.
It reminds me. So the game is still early, right? It's still new. So like back in the days of Magic, like Terror was a good card, but it was you could play 4 of them. It's the same thing as Barry, right?
Right.
Um, the argument gets less good over time for removal because there's now more creatures that are better. So if you're wasting all of your berries on things like Sir Ironhide, then what are you going to do about King Arthur?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about uh
The dame.
Dame? Yeah, the Dame that just brings Sir Ironside back.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about Sir Galahad, my giant? Like, there are much more scary creatures that with powerful effects that will change the flow of battle. And if you're using it on something like this, it's good to get rid of it, but it's not the most important piece in their deck.
Right.
So I guess that wraps it up. Unless you want to talk about anything else.
Other
Yeah,
than the decks that I've been working on, like I have no idea how they're going to perform. So
yeah. I'm excited to post the games we played because they were fun to play. They were pretty intense, scary, uh, like gridlock type. Like I thought I was dead before I got the giant on that one, and then you telling me that
you were
you
dead
have a
too.
yeah the way when you tell me you have a way to take care of my bigger creatures, I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do next? They're pretty good games. I definitely think Arthurian Legends improved the quality of the game even further than it already was,
For sure.
which was scary to me. Uh, second set, new game. I have some sealed product that I've invested in, and for something to come out and has the potential to screw up a game, but I think the team did an excellent job on these cards. It balanced. I didn't. Nothing felt one sided. Nothing felt too crazy. Those games, the two epic games we played, felt neck and neck. And if one thing went wrong, the other person would take it.
I don't know. That giant seems a little
He's
powerful.
pretty strong, but if you had a berry,
Yeah. No,
then
if I had anything, it would have been different. But
yeah,
I just didn't have anything. The there will probably need to be some sort of clarification on whether or not you can make something untap, or if he just says can't and it means what it says. Because I think if I could have untapped, because like that's when we played, right? You played the giant, and I had Sir
you
Ironside,
had
but he
Ironside.
was tapped, and then I played Guinevere and was like, I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna untap Ironside.
Yeah,
But then you were like, you can't do that. So
yeah. This is a question we probably need to figure out. Uh,
I'm sure it says like how it reads. Like it makes sense that they just can't untap.
all right.
So I mean that's how we played it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
yeah. Fun game. Exciting game. Yeah, I'm just even more excited for new sets to come out, for more combos to be unveiled from this set, things no one's thought of yet. I'm pretty happy with the state of sorcery.
Yeah, yeah. Would you like to play a couple more games?
I don't know, I'm kind of tired.
Oh no.
I know.